Hello, you are most welcome. I'm teacher Ivan from WUNNA Educational Services. In this particular lesson, we are looking at significant figures. Significant figures are defined as important figures that have an impact on the value of a measurement. So, we have rules for counting significant figures. What should we consider significant and when? That will be answered by these rules. Rule number 1 says all the non-zero digits are significant. That is, from 1 to 9 are all significant. Number 2 says the trapped or embedded zeros embedded between the non-zero digits or trapped between the non-zero digits are also considered significant. E.g., if we have 102, the zero is between the non-zero digits, so it is taken to be significant. And therefore this value or this figure has 3 significant figures. Then even these 2 zeros are embedded between 2 and 0. But this one is not significant. So this number has 4 significant figures. In this 0 is trapped between 5 and 1, so it makes it significant. But these ones are not significant. So it makes this number to have 4 significant figures. That is the second rule. The third rule says the trailing zeros after a decimal that are obtained by rounding off and those that are read from the instruments during the practicals are considered to be significant. We are saying that the trailing zeros that are as a result of rounding off and maybe when you are in practicals and you read it from an instrument are considered significant. For instance, we shall consider these 2 zeros significant after rounding off this to 3 significant figures. When we round off these to 3 significant figures, we shall get this. But we can also consider this 0 significant if this value is read from an instrument during the practicals. Those are the 2 cases where we consider these zeros significant. Hope we are together. We go to our 4th law or the 4th rule for considering figures significant or counting significant figures. In our rule number 4, we are told that the trailing zeros before the decimal points are not significant. For instance, in 200, these zeros are not significant because they are coming before the decimal. In this, these zeros are not significant, but we can consider this because it is trapped between the non-zero digits. So this one has 4 significant figures. In 2500, we only have 2 significant figures and these zeros are not significant. In 10,000, we have only 1 significant figure. Hope that is clear. These are normally obtained as a result of rounding off certain numbers to the nearest tens, hundreds, or thousands, where we drop the point to the nearest whole numbers. Then the last rule, which is rule number 5, is talking about the leading zeros. Leading zeros are those zeros on the left end of a number, or the zeros that are before the significant figures, and these are not considered significant. For instance, in 0.00045, these zeros are not significant. We call them preceding zeros. They are not significant. And therefore, this number has two significant figures. The same applies to this. This zero is not significant, so it has two significant figures. But if we had a value here, then that could mean that all these ones will be significant because they will be trapped. For instance, if we have 2.007, this one has four significant figures because these two are trapped. So those are the 5 rules of considering or counting significant figures. Otherwise, I want us to try out these simple tasks. Number 1, we are going to determine the number of significant figures in each of the following. So you tell us how many significant figures are in this, that. And also, when we round off this to this, when we round off 598 to 2.65 to 2.60, how many significant figures are in this, the rounded off figure? Then when we read this from a vernier caliper, how many significant figures are these? So you are going to try out that. And in number 2, we are going to look at when do we consider significant figures and decimal points during multiplication and division, and also during addition and subtraction. That will be majorly the topic of that lesson. So our next lesson is on how we deal with significant figures during multiplication and division, and how we deal with decimal places in addition and subtraction. Otherwise, for today, that's enough. We meet in our next lesson. Please, to ensure that you don't miss out, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we have a lesson, so that we may learn together as we enjoy together. Otherwise, I'm Teacher Ivan from WUNNA Educational Services. Search for all our e-learning platforms all over the social media apps. Join us, subscribe to our YouTube channels, follow our accounts so that you receive learning materials on a daily basis. Bye-bye.